Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with that urgent need to go to the bathroom and, instead of feeling relief, been surprised by pain, burning, and that sensation that your bladder never empties completely? If that sounds familiar, I need you to stay with me until the end of this video. What I'm going to share may be exactly the turning point you've been waiting for to take care of your urinary health in a practical and natural way. Many people believe that suffering from recurring urinary tract infections is something inevitable, especially at night. But let me break that myth right now. It is not normal to live with pain, discomfort, constant trips to the bathroom, or that fear of sleeping because you know you might wake up in the middle of the night. These signs mean your urinary health is crying for help. And the good news is that you can act preventively, starting with something simple: the foods you consume before going to bed. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 4 best nighttime foods to prevent urinary tract infections. Easy and accessible choices that can help protect your bladder, reduce the risk of bacteria multiplying, and spare you from that suffering that only those who have experienced it know how uncomfortable it can be. And we're not talking about crazy diets or complicated recipes. These are common food, but when eaten at the right time, they make a huge difference. So, if you're tired of living with burning, endless bathroom visits and the feeling of never having peace at night, you need to watch this video until the end. Here you'll find information based on science, clinical practices, and preventive strategies that really work for those who want to regain control of their urinary health. Before we continue, let me ask you something very important. Subscribe to the channel now, because our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. And more, I need your help so YouTube can deliver this video to other people who also suffer from urinary infections. To make that happen, comment below answering this question: do you feel more symptoms of urinary infection during the day or at night? I need at least 100 comments so this message can reach those who really need it. Now yes, let's move on. Have you ever wondered why urinary infections seem to get worse at night? It's not your imagination. There's a very clear reason for that. During the day, you drink liquids, go to the bathroom often, move your body. All of this helps to wash the urinary tract and reduce bacterial growth. But at night, when you lie down to rest, you spend hours without urinating. That longer interval creates the perfect scenario for bacteria to multiply inside the bladder. And here's where the danger lies. The buildup of urine for many hours increases the chance of pain, burning, and even that uncomfortable sensation of abdominal pressure. For those with a history of recurring urinary infections, the risk is even greater. And it's not just the discomfort that bothers you. Interrupted sleep, constant bathroom trips, and the anxiety of not being able to rest deeply end up harming not only urinary health, but also your quality of life. That's why understanding the importance of nighttime is essential. If you learn to prepare your body before bed with simple but smart choices, you'll turn the most vulnerable moment of your day into an ally of your prevention. And that's exactly what we're going to go deeper into: which foods you can add to your nighttime routine to shield your bladder against infections. When we talk about preventing urinary infections, most people only think about drinking water or avoiding certain foods. But there's a powerful ally that many forget: plain yogurt, rich in probiotics. And why does it deserve a special place in your nighttime routine? Let me explain simply. The urinary tract and bladder are directly linked to the balance of the microbiota, those good bacteria that live in our body and protect us against harmful ones. When that balance is broken, it opens the door for Escherichia coli, the main culprit of urinary infections, to multiply. And that's where yogurt comes in. It provides live lactobacilli, which help restore intestinal and vaginal flora, creating a natural barrier against infection. Having a glass of plain yogurt at night can be a simple but highly effective strategy. During sleep, the body enters processes of repair and regeneration. That's when probiotics can act more strongly, strengthening natural defenses and balancing the internal environment. The result? fewer chances of harmful bacteria sticking to the bladder and causing painful burning or those endless bathroom trips during the night. And we're not talking about sugary or artificially flavored yogurt. The ideal is plain whole or skim yogurt with no added sugar, which truly provides the probiotics your body needs. You can even add a spoonful of seed, like flax or chia, which also support intestinal health and indirectly help prevent urinary infection. This simple habit can change your relationship with urinary health because, in the end, it's not just about relieving symptoms, but about strengthening the body from the inside out, creating a hostile environment for bad bacteria and a welcoming one for good bacteria. If there's one food that's often underestimated but can be a real protector of your urinary health, it's cucumber. Light, refreshing, and made up of over 90% water, it's one of the best allies for those who suffer from recurring urinary infection. And when eaten at night, its effects can be even more significant. The first big advantage of cucumber is the deep hydration it provides. During sleep, as we've seen, the body spends many hours without receiving fluids, which creates a favorable environment for bacteria to multiply in the bladder. Eating cucumber before bed naturally increases water intake and also provides important minerals like potassium and magnesium, which help balance the body. In addition, cucumber contains fiber and antioxidants that support detoxification. This process is essential for anyone fighting urinary infection, since accumulated toxins promote inflammation and weaken natural defenses. With regular consumption, cucumber helps make urine more diluted, which helps wash the urinary tract and makes it harder for bacteria to stick to bladder wall. Another benefit, cucumber is extremely light. Unlike fatty or sugary foods that overload the body at night, it supports digestion and doesn't disrupt sleep. This is essential for those who already live with the anxiety of waking up in the middle of the night with pain or urgency to urinate. Cucumber helps the body rest better while also working as a natural boost for urinary health. You can eat a few slices plain, in a light salad, or even blended into a calming juice with herbs like mint. The important thing is to make it part of your nighttime routine. It's a simple, cheap, and very effective care for anyone who doesn't want to be surprised again by the pain and discomfort of urinary infection. If you want a simple and effective ally for urinary health before bed, chamomile tea may be the perfect choice. It not only helps relax and prepare the body for a peaceful night's sleep, but also has properties that act directly in preventing urinary infection. One of chamomile's greatest advantages is its natural, anti-inflammatory effect. Urinary infections are often accompanied by inflammation of the bladder and urinary tract, causing pain, burning, and that constant sensation of urgency to urinate. Drinking a cup of chamomile tea at night helps reduce these inflammatory processes, bringing relief and creating an environment less favorable for bacteria to multiply. Another important point is chamomile's mild diuretic effect. This means that, even gently, it stimulates fluid elimination and helps wash the urinary system. Unlike irritating drinks like coffee, sodas, or teas rich in caffeine, chamomile works gently without harming the bladder. On the contrary, it calms, hydrates, and protects. And let's not forget its calming power. Stress and anxiety are big enemies of urinary health, as they weaken the body's natural defenses and promote repeated infection flare-ups. A cup of chamomile tea before bed helps reduce tension, relax muscles, and promote deeper sleep, something essential for the body to regenerate and strengthen its defenses against bacteria. To enhance its effects, prepare chamomile naturally, avoiding industrial tea bags full of additives. Let dried flowers steep in hot water for a few minutes and drink it without sugar. Or, if you prefer, lightly sweeten it with honey, which also has antimicrobial properties. This small routine can become a powerful nightly ritual for breaking the cycle of urinary infection. When we think of oats, we usually associate them with breakfast. But few people know they can also be an excellent evening choice, especially for those who suffer from recurring urinary infections. Oats are rich in soluble fiber, like beta-glucan, which support intestinal balance and strengthen the immune system Two key factors in preventing urinary problem. And why does that matter so much? Because the intestines and bladder are closely connected. An imbalanced gut can foster the overgrowth of harmful bacteria like E. coli, which migrate to the urinary tract and trigger infection. By including oats in your nighttime routine, you promote healthy digestion, reduce this risk, and strengthen natural defenses. Another advantage of oats is their calming effect on the body. They help regulate blood sugar, avoiding nighttime spikes that can disrupt sleep and fuel silent inflammation in the body. The more controlled inflammation is, the less favorable conditions bacteria find to settle in the bladder. Plus, oats are extremely versatile. You can eat them as a light porridge before bed, mixed with warm milk, plain yogurt, or even with permitted fruits. It's a food that satisfies without weighing you down, providing balanced energy and helping the body function during sleep. Adding oats at night is a way to combine comfort, health, and prevention. Not only do you improve sleep quality, but you also strengthen your natural barriers against urinary infections. A simple step that can save you from pain, discomfort, and sleepless nights. Up to this point, we've talked about foods that help strengthen urinary health at night. But just as important as knowing what to include is being aware of what to avoid. Often, it's that seemingly harmless habit that opens the door for bacteria to multiply and turns the night into a nightmare. The first big villain is sugar. Sweets, desserts, cookies, and even packaged juices are a feast for bacteria. They feed on that excess glucose and gain energy to multiply faster inside the bladder. The result? Burning, pain, and that urgency to urinate that completely ruins your rest. Another critical point is alcoholic drinks. A simple glass of wine or beer at night may seem relaxing, but in reality, alcohol irritates the bladder lining and dehydrates the body. This combination promotes inflammation and leaves the urinary tract more vulnerable to infections. Let's not forget sodas and caffeinated drinks. Besides overloading the kidneys, they increase urine acidity and irritate the bladder, creating the perfect setting for nighttime flare-ups. Coffee, even in small amounts, can disrupt not only sleep but also urinary health because it stimulates excessive urine production and makes the bladder more sensitive. And there's another detail many ignore: heavily spiced, fatty, or ultra-processed foods before bed. They complicate digestion, generate silent inflammation, and may intensify urinary infection symptoms. The secret lies in balance. Prioritize light, nutritious choices at night, and avoid what will further irritate an already weakened body. Remember, every food decision can mean the difference between a peaceful night's sleep and hours awake with pain and discomfort. When it comes to preventing urinary infection, the first recommendation that always comes up is drink plenty of water. And that's true. Proper hydration is one of the most important pillars of bladder health. But at night, you need to be careful. Drinking too much water before bed can end up disturbing your sleep because you'll wake up several times to go to the bathroom. The key is conscious hydration. What does that mean? It means finding balance, drinking the right amount of water throughout the day and keeping intake moderate in the hours before bed. This way, you keep your urinary tract clean without overloading the bladder overnight. Ideally, 2 hours before bed should be your last larger intake of water, and afterward, if you feel thirsty, just a small sip is enough. Keeping your urine light in color is a good sign that you're hydrated. The more diluted it is, the harder it is for bacteria to multiply. On the other hand, if your urine is very concentrated and dark, it means you drank too little water, and your bladder is in a more vulnerable environment. That's practically an invitation for infection to appear. Another important detail: hydration doesn't have to come only from water. Foods rich in water, like juicy fruits, we've already mentioned some, gentle caffeine-free teas, and fresh vegetables also contribute to balance. This reinforces prevention without weighing down your evening routine. So, building a conscious hydration strategy is just as essential as choosing the right foods. Not too little, not too much. Just enough to keep the bladder protected, the body working well, and above all, ensuring you get restorative sleep without constant interruptions or giving infections a chance to strike. Taking care of urinary health doesn't require big aid sacrifices, but building an intelligent preventive routine, especially before bed. That's when the body spends many hours at rest, and each choice can be decisive in avoiding infection. If you've ever suffered from burning, pain, or urgency to urinate in the middle of the night, you know well how it can ruin sleep quality. That's why turning your nights into a ritual of care is essential. Start with light and strategic eating, choosing foods that hydrate, balance gut flora, and reduce inflammation, like plain yogurt, cucumber, oats, or a mild chamomile tea can make all the difference. The secret is not to overload your stomach, but to give your body nutrients that help protect the bladder. Next, focus on conscious hydration, as we've discussed. Drink your last larger amount of water up to 2 hours before bed, and later, just a few sips if you feel thirsty. This keeps your urinary tract clean without turning the night into a marathon of bathroom visits. Another essential point is nighttime hygiene. Small habits like changing underwear daily, avoiding synthetic fabrics, and keeping the area clean and dry drastically reduce the risk of bacterial growth. For those with a history of recurring infections, this detail can mean the difference between a peaceful night and a painful crisis. And finally, don't underestimate the power of relaxation. Stress is a big enemy of urinary health because it weakens the immune system. Creating a moment of calm before bed, whether through deep breathing, light reading, or even a warm bath, strengthens the body against inflammation and helps prevention. When you combine these steps into a simple routine, you turn the most vulnerable part of the day, the night, into a moment of active protection against urinary infection. Now that you know the 4 best nighttime foods to prevent urinary infections, it's clear that small choices can have a huge impact on your health. It's not about miracle solutions or empty promises, but about taking control of your body with simple, smart, and consistent actions. A glass of plain yogurt, a few slices of cucumber, a cup of chamomile tea, or even a light oat porridge before bed can be much more powerful than you imagine. These choices, applied consistently, help reduce inflammation, balance flora, hydrate the bladder, and make it harder for bacteria to cause nighttime discomfort. But it's not just about avoiding pain or burning. It's also about regaining peaceful sleep, waking up with energy, and living the next day without the weight of having spent the night fighting symptoms that have stolen peace from so many. Prevention is always the most effective path, and you've already taken an important step by seeking quality information. And now, I need your help. If this content made sense to you, leave your like. It's a quick gesture, but it shows YouTube that this video is relevant and deserves to reach more people who also suffer from urinary infection. And don't stop here. Another video is appearing on your screen right now that will complement this knowledge and may bring you answers you didn't even imagine. Click on it, because that's where you'll find even more valuable information about your urinary health. Remember, every detail counts. And when you combine prevention, awareness, and the right choices, your bladder thanks you, and your life gains much more quality.